Percents can show us how much a quantity has increased or decreased. Now, among other uses, this can show how something has grown, stayed stagnant, if it hasn't increased or decreased, right? Stayed stagnant, or decreased. Typically, we can do this by doing the final divided by initial. So this is going to be the initial, and then it becomes 30. So the final is going to be 30, and the initial is 20. So 30 over 20 is 1.5, which of course is 150%. So 100%, which is always what the starting amount or the initial amount is 100%. It became 150%. That's a 50% increase. Or of course, 100 plus 50 is 150%. Now, if instead we go from 30 to 20, the starting amount is now 30, and that becomes 20. So the final is 20, the initial is 30. Dividing that gives us 66.67%, rounded to two places. 100% is always the starting amount, and then that becomes 20%, or a 33.33% decrease. 100 minus 33.33 gives us that decrease. So we're always asking, what's the percent increase or decrease? You would say in the first one, 50% increase. In the second one, a 33.33% decrease. As we can see here, the final is this one, right? This is the initial. This is the final. So we're going to go final divided by initial. You can see that, of course, we are increasing. So we expect a percent increase. Doing that on a calculator gives us 197.6%, which means that this was a 97.6% increase, because it's going to be what's above 100%. This one here, we're going from a larger amount to a smaller amount. So this is the initial, this is the final, and this is going to be a percentage decrease. So this is going to be final divided by initial gives us 0.7, or I'm going to write this as a percentage. It'd be 77 point, rounded to two places, 59%. In other words, this is going to be a 100% minus 77.59%. It's a 22.41% decrease. That's the solution for that one. So think of this like as a sale, right? This would be 22.41% off of the price. Okay, Amy decreased her restaurant spending from her budget from $287 to $54 a month. What is the percent decrease, right? This is the initial, this is the final, it's going down, so we expect a decrease. So we're going to go final divided by initial. That gives us, as a percentage, 18.82%. And to find the percent decrease, all I have to do, since this is a decrease, I'm just going to subtract it from 100. And that's going to give us 81.18% decrease. That's the solution. And we expect a very large decrease, right? Because this is going from a larger amount to a very small amount in comparison. So this should be a pretty high percentage. But with the percent decrease, you have to do the subtraction. Unless you can tell it, like, if it's like minus 20, then obviously it's an 80% decrease. Or it'd be 20%. Yeah, 80% decrease. But for a percentage increase, it's really just the number, just the percent that's above 100. So 197.6 minus 100 is 97.6. That's why I didn't do the subtraction of 100 like I did in the decreasing. Okay, this one we have $75.25 worth of goods, pay a total of $82.03. What is the sales tax? Now, sales tax is really a percentage increase of price. So this is our initial, this is our final due to sales tax. So our final divided by our initial gives us 1 point as a percentage, 109.01, or a 9.01% increase. So the sales tax then is going to be 9.01%. Okay, if you decrease your caloric intake from 2,500 to 1,750, what is the percent decrease? Right, again, initial, final divided by initial gives us 70%. Or in other words, 100% minus 70% equals a 30% decrease in the caloric intake. Okay, if you pay 9% in sales tax on 136 net 25, what is the increased price? There's two ways you can do this, right? You can find 9% of 136.25 and then add that on to the 136.25. That works just fine. You can also think of this as a percentage increase. If we have 100% and our sales tax increases this amount, we're just going to add that to 100%. If 9% sales tax, we're just going to add on 9%. That gives us 109%. That's our new percentage. So now all we have to do is find what is 109% of the 136.25, and that will increase the price for us. That's the same thing as just multiplying the percentage times the whole bill, the whole price of the item. And that gives us $148.51, which is more than the price of the item, which is what we expect, right? Sales tax is always on top of the price of the item. Okay, 725 item is on sale for 20% off. What is the discount and sales price? So discount is a percent decrease. 20% off, 20% is going to be the discount. The sales price is going to be the percent decrease from this discount. So the discount is 20%. So all we have to do is find 20% of this number, and that finds the discount. We can do that by just multiplying that number in 20%, giving us the part, which is $145. So this is the discount. So we can, of course, just take 725 minus 145, and that gives us the sales price. We can also think of this as a percent decrease. So we're going to take a 100%, and it's being decreased or removed 20% off of that. That means that we now have 80% of our item's price. That's what its sales price is. So all we have to do is take 725 times 80%, and that gives us the new price, which is 580. Of course, if you do 580 plus 145, you're going to get 725. It's just different ways of talking about the number, as either a percent decrease or as a, taking off a percentage from the price. Suppose a mechanic gets 15% discount off a retail price from a distributor of parts, then charges the customer 12% above the retail price to the customer. What is the price the customer would pay if the parts the mechanic costs, or the parts cost the mechanic $82.24? So $82.24 is already 15% off the discount retail price. And then the mechanic charges above this, 12% above this retail price to the customer. So how much does the customer pay if the mechanic pays $80.24? So first off, we need to figure out what is the retail price. 15% discount becomes this. So in other words, 15% off of the retail price, or in other words, 100% minus 15% is 85%. So the discounted price, which is this, is 85% of the retail price. This and this refer to the same quantity. So this must be our part. This is our percent. And the retail price is going to be the whole. So we have the part equals the percent times the whole, which we don't know. We're trying to find the whole. And if we divide the 0.85, we're going to get the whole. The retail price in this case is going to be 80.24 divided by 0.85, 94.4. And what's nice about this method of doing it, if you did it the other way around, if you flipped x and 80.24, because those are the only two that you can flip, then you'd actually get a number smaller than this number. So as long as you understand what the problem is asking, the retail price has to be a larger price than this because the mechanic got a discount. So you can actually assure yourself that this is the correct answer for this part of the problem. Now the second part of the problem says that the customer pays 12% above the retail price. That's what the mechanic charges. So this is the retail price, and we want to figure out what is 12% above this price. In other words, if 100% refers to this price, then the customer pays 12% above that, or 112%. It's a percent increase in price. So this percent refers to the price the customer pays. The customer doesn't pay $94.40. The customer pays more than that. So this refers to the part, and this is our whole, or our initial amount. The final amount is going to be increased from this amount. So we have the part that we don't know is 112% of the whole, or the initial price. That means we just need to multiply those, and rounding to two places gives us 73. The customer pays $105.73 for the part. And if you do this differently, right? If you changed x and this number around, then what you're going to end up finding is that the number you're going to get is going to be smaller than the retail price, which of course the customer would not pay less than the retail price unless they were getting a discount, but they didn't get a discount. Only the mechanic got the discount. So it's another way of checking to make sure your answer is correct. Of course, the next follow-up question could be, well, if the customer pays $105.73 and the mechanic pays $80.24, how much money does the mechanic make in profit? And somewhere around $25 if you subtract those two numbers. Okay, last question. If you get 20% pay cut from a $30 an hour wage, and then a 20% pay increase later on, how much do you make now? And if you think you make the same amount, that is incorrect. So a 20% pay cut is the same thing as a percentage decrease. So we're going to take 100%, which is the $30, and subtract from that 20%. That means we make now 80% of our original amount. So what is 80% of 30? 80% of 30 gives us the part, $24 an hour. So that's 20% pay cut. Now, what is a 20% pay increase? Well, 20% is no longer on 20% of $30. If that were the case, then yes, you would make the same amount. However, we now make less money. So 20% pay increase is less money than a 20% pay increase for $30 an hour. So we're asking, what is a pay increase, right? Is it a pay increase or a percentage increase? If 100% refers to the now $24 an hour, and we make an additional 20%, that means we have 120% of our pay. So what is 120% of our pay? 120% of our pay is $28.80.